Pick a card. How does this person feel? What happened? Here are your options. I'll see you at your reading. Hi friends, my name is Griselle with Toughdolltarot, and I'm here to do your reading. Pile number 1. You chose this lovely image on the right hand side of the screen, and your downloads go as follows. The person on your mind, what does this person feel for you? First of all, when I did the smoke thing, I just saw an S left, and I did catch it on camera. So their name could start with an S or end with last name could be an S, or S could be relevant. I feel like this person feels mocked and upset. I'm not sure exactly what happened here, but they're upset with a situation. They're upset with a perceived offense. It's almost like very dualistic, and it depends on how they want to look at it, really. So it's a short intro, but if this is you, or if this sounds intriguing, then we're gonna get into it. During the shuffle in 3, 2, 1. Welcome, welcome. If you're new here, I hope that you find something that is helpful, hopeful. And for those of you guys that are indeed my repeat offenders, I am so grateful to have you here. So this is a reading about how do they feel. The person on your mind, whoever you came here for this reading for. Keep in mind, if it is romantic, you're going to play it that way. And if it's non-romantic, you're going to take the measures to make sure you're interpreted that way as well, right? But never try to fit anything in if it just doesn't fit. Pile number 1, you chose this lovely image and this card. Self-evaluation, awakening and purpose with the enchanter. So I'm going to say right off the bat that the lesson here, basically, the reason why you guys are in conflict, or how you're asking how are they feeling, or why am I in their life, that kind of a thing, what's going on, the big purpose is that you, pile number 1, could be receiving sequential numbers. You could be seeing a lot of number 2s, but basically you're here to awaken this person, whoever you came here for. So I feel like it is actually working, even though it could be very painful, even though it might feel like you have to bare your heart and soul, or that maybe perhaps you have, or maybe perhaps the situation has cost you a lot more than you originally intended. And you're like, well, I didn't sign up for this. So it could be any of those, really. But yeah, let's see what else we have right here, because I feel like maybe perhaps this person is deeply asleep, and we will get more information right here. So this is a side of what happened. So what happened here? We have the Empress. So this could be a mother figure, or somebody who is pregnant, or somebody who has already embodied all of the queens. This could be somebody who is older, not necessarily, but just ideas for you. So this person has a lot of skill, a lot of talent, a lot of gifts, right? And they're pretty sharp. They don't get easily like waylaid or easily surprised, but I definitely feel like, yeah, you surprised them. Now, this person, I feel like, definitely puts themselves on a pedestal. And I'm going to say that because I feel like with the self-evaluation, maybe they value monetary gifts only. Excuse me, and they don't ever think about their spirituality, not like in the real sense, right? And so this could be somebody who's done a lot with their lives. They have businesses, or they have great prosperity, and they're pretty well set in life. And yet fundamentally, there's something really empty and echoey in their soul, in their heart space. And so I'm here to say that basically you chose this pile because you were here to kind of shake things up in this person's life. Not in a bad way, but I feel like this person is faced with having to go within, having to face their own duality, having to face their own mortality, and having to face a lot of the deeper and darker things than they really want to face. Now, what I mean by that is, a lot of people I've seen, reach great achievements and success. By the same token, haven't done a lot of reflecting on their life and their life with spirit or the big picture. They're really focused on, kind of run the gauntlet or the rat race or their profession or schooling and things like that. And none of those are inherently a bad thing. But I feel like because this person has never done the work, you were set by spirit to bring this person kind of full circle to really face that which they fear. And something about they could have a mother wound, by the way, which is kind of ironic because that would lead me into the whole like duality thing. They're seeing things a different way, but if they were to look at the reflection of it, which is a real thing, then they would see it totally different. And so, yeah, but this really implies that it is a deep and dark, scary place for them. And so they've withdrawn to do some work within, or they will shortly have to do that. Now, with the spider webs right here, I also feel like they feel a little bit trapped, like they can't escape you or they can't escape this whole notion that they have to evaluate their own lives and things like that. Coco, nobody wants your food, I promise. Coco's chiming in, but anyways, yeah, so I feel like this person has, with all those spider webs, they've navigated things like beautifully, but there are a period of time where we have to like stop and self-reflect and then proceed forward to make sure that we are on the right trajectory. And somehow, some way, I feel like the person that you came here for just kind of missed it, or they bypassed that stop station. And so now they have to go and revert back to really thinking about this area, their spirituality. They have to also go and retrieve something that they left way back when, a part of themselves that they have not integrated into this timeline, this lifetime. So that's part of what happened here, and you, unfortunately or fortunately, are or were the trigger. These are their feelings. Queen of Wands. So this person right now, they feel like they are a mover and shaker, but also they could feel like you are a mover and shaker. They could feel like they're very powerful. But if you notice, like I've never seen this panda before like this, those sunflowers almost feel like disconnected. There's some disjointedness about it. Like this looks like a tree, and this looks like a part of a tree as well. But then there's sunflowers, and I don't see like the stems from the sunflowers or the leaves from the trees. So it seems to me that there is part of them that is lacking, and they acknowledge that. But they want to kind of portray this like, well, I'm successful in life. I got all A's in school, and I was valedictorian, or, whatever their story is. And I volunteer for this case and that case and this situation. And I do all these things, and those things are great, but they haven't done a real heart check, and they haven't dusted off issues and things that are really, really deep that are holding them back, holding them from really shining, being a great tool for spirit, if you will. I know we're not necessarily here for that, but that's what spirit's here for, by the way. So I feel like that's partially what happened and why you connected and why things happened the way they happened. So how else are they feeling for pile number one? Get out of here with that. So the Empress, clarified by the Empress as far as feelings go. So yeah, and maybe it is something to the effect of like when they see you, they see a reflection of themselves, but they have a distorted perspective. And so something has to kind of give away, something has to be restructured, something has to be looked at once again with them going in a hermit mode. With the Empress, again, this is a person that has everything, that doesn't really need anything from anyone. And maybe meeting that same energy or similar energy as you kind of put them in a bad mood because they're used to being the Empress. It's like not necessarily a call the shots type of thing, but it's sort of like, well, I have everything that I need, and I know the way because I am self-sufficient, or I am very successful, or whatever the things are, right? And I feel like by the same token, you could say the same. You're like, well, I am very successful, and I have all the things, and I have all the wisdom. Not all the wisdom, right? Because on this channel, we are always learning and growing. We know that we're not ever a finished product, right? But I think you get the gist right here. And so There's something about that, something about the way that you interacted, something about your image even, that is really kind of putting this person at a point where they really definitely have to self-reflect, and they have to go do shadow work. They haven't done this work. They haven't really faced the negative quote unquote qualities of their own lives and things like that. If you're not watching the camera, you do the air quotes. But anyways, yeah, that's part of this right here. And then when you look right here, it's almost like this Empress right here is guarding her little one who has a wand. And you see all the flowers about, and it's like, you know, enjoying abundance and things like that. And maybe perhaps this could be saying that maybe the person, this person that you're coming here for the reading has a lot monetarily, but you have a lot in enrichment and spirituality, or you have a lot on in the form of like feeling peaceful and or having a lot of friends or whatever. Like your abundance knows no limit because you don't staple it to a time frame, and you don't wrap it in a bow that society says, okay, you have to have these degrees and these letters after your name and things like that in order to be happy, you know. And maybe you did want those or didn't, I don't know. But the fact of the matter is that you've managed to find happiness and contentment some way, somehow. And I feel like this person, for some reason, is kind of questioning themselves, okay? And how are they feeling? Okay, so you have this person. I don't want to say you have this person. We can't make nobody do anything, right? But this person is definitely studying. And I feel like they could be studying you. They could be comparing themselves. Even if this person is perceived as being more abundant, more powerful, more elevated, whatever, or in a higher tax bracket, doesn't make a difference. This person, I feel like, is hitting the books once again, so to speak. It could be a metaphor as well for simply going online and kind of like checking you out more thoroughly and trying to understand, why are you, you know, like, why is this person triggering me? Why does pile number 1 trigger me? And yet I have good feelings about them because I definitely feel like abundance and we should be getting along, but we don't. What else do we have here? How does this person feel? How does this person feel about pile number 1, please? The King of Pentacles. Yeah, this person feels... Oh, goodness. Okay, for some of you guys that are here for a romantic thing, I heard... I'm all romantic thing. I heard, you gave good love to me. So I don't know who that's about. And of course, we know that the archetypes, even in the tarot, don't necessarily have to represent male, female. It's just an energy, right? So you, again, use your own wisdom to fit the narrative in the story. But with the King of Pentacles right here, I definitely feel like they're very grounded. They feel like they are very content and abundant. But for some reason, they feel like lacking when they stack themselves next to you. And there should be no stacking. We shouldn't be comparing ourselves. But you know what? We all do it. In the end, we kind of all do it. Even though, you know, I like to be that person. And I do. I compare myself more to like what I did yesterday. But every once in a while, I'm like, damn, I should have done that. Or, you know, I catch myself slipping. So we compare ourselves and, of course, correct as needed. So how's this person feeling? The 9 of Swords. They could be having anxiety. This person could be like, you know what? I don't necessarily, oh, wow, I've never noticed those hands before. So in their sleep, I feel like they could be having dreams about you, or dreams that are like nefarious or scary. And I just want to say, it's not about like frightening or evil eye or anything like that. I just feel like you sparked something within them, an awakening, a self-evaluation, right? A purpose that they have forgotten, that they have slept on, and now they're waking up. And they don't want to go back to this deep, dark thing, because shadow work sucks, you guys. I'm not here to like applaud it. Kind of I am, but I mean, it's not easy. I'm just going to say that. But what they don't realize is that unless they get through this, right, they're always going to have that fear. They're always going to medicate over it. They're always going to kind of deny and not address real issues. And plus they left the part of themselves, right, which is what the Hermit does, going away from this place without retrieving that star. That is your reason for being. And so what they don't understand is that their body, even subconsciously, is telling them, hey, wake up. And so maybe they're having like nightmares or anxiety at night, or like stress, you know, about the next time they see you, or about the situation in general. So I don't feel like any great animosity right here at all. I feel like it could be very cohesive, but they could be a little bit grumpy right now because they're having to force themselves to see, or a part of their reflection that they don't want to see. It's like, we don't want to see that we have things to work on. We don't want to see that we have spider webs and things that are like untouched and unmoved and unresolved. And we want to kind of move beyond it and kind of bury it in a little niche and forget about it. And yeah, me too. But Spirit doesn't really work that way. And apparently neither do you, because you sparked this person on. So that's what I have. If you can relate, do give me a like, share, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Namaste. Hi friends, my name is Griselle with Toughdolltarot, and I'm here to do your reading. Pile number 2, you chose this lovely image on the right hand side of the screen, and your downloads go as follows. The person on your mind, the person that you came here for the reading, what are they feeling? We want to know specifically what they're feeling, and also we'd like to know a little bit about the situation. So we'll be doing the situation here, how they're feeling here. So if this sounds interesting, then go ahead and stick with me. We're going to go ahead and do a shuffle, and we're going to jump right in. There's no downloads today. Welcome, welcome. If you are new here, I hope that you find something that is helpful, hopeful. And for those of you guys that are indeed my repeat offenders, I really am so grateful to have you here. Pile number 2. How do they feel on this side? What happened here and what's really going on according to Spirit, okay? Pile number 2, you have shelter. With spiritual growth, accountability, and healing. Okay, that's deep. And what happened here, Spirit? You have the 2 of Swords. I'm going to say this frog appears angry a little bit to me, looking towards the future. Even these, I think they're lightning bugs, they're supposed to be, appear a little bit upset. And then I have the creepy hands once again right here. Some of you guys might watch a lot of like conspiracy theory again on the different public forums, and you've been watching the ones about the hands of Hollywood, right? The long creepy Khloe Kardashian hands, stuff like that. I digress, but this person's upset, okay? Something about shelter, could be about housing, and 3 of Pentacles in a collaboration right here. So there's definitely a stalemate. I feel like you guys are not speaking right now, or they're not speaking to you, either way. And this person is hardcore watching who you're collaborating with, because you're definitely not collaborating with them. And even though I have the wolves right here on this card with collaboration, it's like they're going to collaborate to take down this moose. That's elk, I don't know. It seems to me like the frog is like, all right, who are you collaborating with that I'm pissed off? Well, you know, that shelter, we're supposed to live together. We're supposed to throw in our lots together. We're supposed to have a business together. So for whatever reason, you guys are not cooperating in their eyes, right? In order to do this thing, whatever it is that they wanted. Maybe it was that they had a plan and they wanted to live with you, and you just didn't want that. Or they wanted to escalate the relationship into something higher, and you didn't want that. But it does have to do ultimately with spiritual growth, accountability, and healing. So this person, I'm going to say, has a lot of healing to do. I definitely feel like there is no turning that frown upside down. There is definitely a stalemate, a cooling off. You guys have been in no communication. I also get that because there's 3 of Pentacles right here. Everything is on icy ground, and they're definitely looking again at like who you're collaborating with. It's like, well, how come you're doing it with them? You know, well, how come, well, not with me? How come you moved on with her or him? Whatever the case is, right? Whether it's romantic or not, you're going to apply it accordingly. So they are definitely salty. They are pissed. And I'm going to say that there's many layers and many reasons why you made the choices that you have made. And maybe it didn't even have to do with cooperating or collaborating with another person. But with the word accountability, that is really standing out to me. And so maybe perhaps this did regard some form of shelter, and they were not holding themselves accountable. And it was really difficult for you to hold them accountable for whatever it is that they promised or their end of the bargain. That could be one scenario as well. I'm looking at all the blue flowers back here. And this person's like jaw is like wide open. So yeah, so there's been no healing, no accountability, no growth, maybe even no spirituality within the connection. And that could have been really alarming for you. And I don't think that you tout yourself as like, oh, I'm a spiritual leader and you have to be my pedigree in order to. I definitely don't think that, but I also feel like anybody that you mess with, that you fucks with, should I say it like that? Anybody that is in your vicinity that isn't vibrationally a match with you equal, or if they're of lower vibration and let's say they're doing things, they're stealing to make a living, they're constantly causing strife or causing drama in the household, or they're causing your property value to diminish, anything like that, you're just not having it. And so there are two different perspectives on really what transpired and what's going on. And I'm looking at number 444 right now. Also, I feel like I was 3 seconds when I started looking at the camera and anticipating that. So I feel like you saw this coming a mile away, and there was something that maybe you guys talked about that they were not receptive to. They had an ironclad face, or they had this way of like, I'm not listening, that kind of a thing. Maybe they pulled rank on you. Maybe they're like, well, I'm your boss. Well, I'm the breadwinner. Well, I'm the this. And you're like, oh, yeah, well, I'm the one that's gone. So you could have just dipped or ended the situationship, relationship, however this looks, right? So pile number 2, how do they feel? 9 of Swords. Not surprisingly, this did come out in pile number 1 as well. But I mean, they're filled with anxiety. It appears like these 2 big scary hands reaching out from the middle of smoke. And I feel like when you talk about accountability and healing and spiritual growth, I feel like they got freaked out because they like the theory of it, but not the practicality of it, not the reality of it, and certainly not looking at themselves in the mirror. So yeah, and I feel like this frog is totally on one sword. It's like they definitely want to talk, and they don't care who it hurts. It could be very abrasive, the discussion. This person's waiting. This person could have been waiting for quite some time. And actually with this crystal, I saw 2 people like hugging. So, and then you have the 2 wands right here with the 3rd one being held. And this is waiting. It's like this is a waiting game. This is for the ships to come in. This is for maybe even communication, for things to start moving. For them to be able to get out of this anxiety. How are they feeling? 8 of Pentacles. They're looking at the amount of work it's going to take. Now, this is really interesting because I feel like this person could be future faking. I feel like they are planning, they're scheming, they're thinking. This person is not at all attached to the divine. This person is not looking for their own glow up or looking to make amends in a real way, or doing shadow work, or experiencing any accountability, no growth. And why I say that is notice that all the coins are wrapped up here. Sorry about that. So one more time, the reason why I get that before I choked is because of the no accountability. This person has been dodging accountability for a long time. They're not used to it, and they are going to look for any means, shape, and form to be able to get around it the way they've done their whole lives. Well, the longer we are artists of disappearing, of illusion, of mastering, bamboozling people and things like that, the harder it's going to be to get in the rhythm of spirit, whom says, go ahead and do your spiritual growth, take accountability so you can allow healing to come in. But this person is looking at this one coin and they're hiding behind the coin. They're like, that is so much work. Oh my goodness. I don't think so. They're feeling like this is too much to ask for. It's too much work. I'm also hearing that they feel like they're too old for this, too old to change their ways. But in the meantime, all these coins are wrapped up over here. And this, I feel like it's like a trickery. They have an arsenal of different things. They'll pull out like emotional manipulation, number 101 on camera right now. That could resonate with someone. And with some of you guys, you're courted with this person. It could be sibling, lover, family member, whatever it is. I definitely feel like you're courted. And I also feel like they could have used money as a bargaining tool, a manipulation tool, and whatnot. So they don't have a lot, but what they do have is a lot of tricks up their sleeves. And I can hear you saying, well, tricks are for kids. We're not here for that. But that's how this person thinks. I definitely feel like there's a vibe, an air of immaturity, of let me kind of bamboozle, let me one-upmanship, let me kind of get over on, let me not do the work, let me avoid. Instead, it's going to be attack and deflect. And talk about anything else except attack, and talk about maybe who you're collaborating with right now and why, and then deflect. And it's like, well, I waited so long, and deflect some more, and then show, well, I've been doing the work, and they only have like one coin to show for it. So that's a heads up for you. That's how this person is feeling. It's like, well, I can bamboozle them again. I know how to play the game. I know how to speak the lingo. You know, if they've studied you for any length of time, and I feel like this person is just riveted. So that's all they're doing is studying you. And it's like, how can I get back in their good graces? They're going to talk a really good talk. So buyer beware. That is what I have. If this resonates, please do give me a thumbs up. Until next time, namaste. Hi friends, my name is Griselle with Toughdolltarot, and I'm here to do your reading. Pile number 3, you chose this lovely image on the right hand side of the screen. And your downloads go is not follows, because we're not doing downloads today. So what does this person feel? Today we're going to be visiting a little bit about what the real issue is in the center. That's Spirit's perspective. And then we're going to be looking at what happened, what transpired, the nitty-gritty about the connection. And then we're going to look at how they feel about everything and potential motive. So if this sounds interesting, then stick with me during the shuffle and your subsequent reading in 3, 2, 1. Welcome, welcome. If you're new to my channel, I hope that you find something that is helpful and hopeful. If you guys are indeed my repeat offenders, I'm so grateful to have you here. Thank you so much for your support. Pile number 3, what are they feeling? What are they feeling? What transpired? And what is Spirit thinking about this whole thing? You have the blood moon, illusions, uncertainty, and narcissism. With the number 8, so definitely could be a lot of undercurrents going on here. Nothing is clear. I mean, this blood moon is full. This could be like familial connections or something that involves a lot of vitality, life force, things like that. So let's find out what's going on. Pile number 3, you have the 4 of Wands. And you have the 7 of Pentacles. Now, interesting right here, because the 4 of Wands really talks about your home. Excuse me. And by the way, I felt a lot of like eyes on you, a lot of spying when I looked out into the forest also. I saw some people, they're not people, but people that I could see anyways, like Spirit. So you might be having a lot of feeling like eyes are on you and you're not really sure why, that kind of a thing. You're not wrong, okay? That's first of all. Look at all the eyes right here, here. When you really start looking, they're everywhere. So, second of all, what really transpired is that this person, something happened to really have have them go into the Seven of Pentacles. And for me, Seven of Pentacles is all about evaluating. It's a pause. It's looking at your financial portfolio or whatever portfolio you have. If you have invested time, energy, effort, blood, sweat, and tears, it could be anything. It could be a relationship, situationship. It could be a job. It could be a person, right, that you invested time, energy into. Whatever this is, it's like, I feel like this person, pile number 3, definitely paused and took a look and took inventory. And they were thinking, is what I'm putting in the same thing as I'm getting out? Is it equitable energy? Am I putting in too much? Is it producing? Is there promise of a future here? A promise of stability with the Four of Wands right here. A promise of our home becoming more stable or things like that. Whatever you want to call your home. And it doesn't have to be somebody who's living in your home. This could be, you know, talking about their own wealth and things like that. Like if you're in a relationship, this could have been a consideration. Does this person have the monetary means that I do? And am I willing to put forth the effort if they do not? Because that's going to tax my resources. It could be thinking like that. So let's see a little bit more about what happened, because to me that's a little bit unclear. But with the Four of Wands also, this could have been, this could be a situation where it was like a fiance or somebody thinking about proposing or somebody thinking about a long-term engagement to you. And what would that look like? Yeah, so we just got a jumper. We're going to take that. I definitely feel like this person has been slow, and they were slow in coming to the forefront. Now, for all their slowness, what you don't know is that they've been like waiting water right here. That's why the water is está todo alborotado. And it's all, the water's like disturbed right here. And there's a line of demarcation between the green and the blue. And so that tells me that this octopus has been kind of like rambling, wrestling, and messing with things underwater, so that it's kicked up the sand and probably other, you know, dirt, rocks, whoever, whatever. And so this person has been kind of like doing a lot of things behind the scenes, maybe even trying to stay afloat. Maybe that was the purpose of it, right? With the Page of Pentacles, it's like they value each and every pentacle. And if you look, we have the Seven of Pentacles right here. And then we have that one cherished, that one beautiful pentacle, right, that this octopus is holding up. And that would complete 8. So I feel like they're counting the cost. Like, is it worth the time, energy, and emotion? Because the 8 of Pentacles is indicative of work, of labor, of toiling, of perfecting something. And so they're looking up to the sky. They're trying to get a real good read, a good, they're utilizing, you know, things as a barometer to really see if this is something that is going to work, or if they've been kind of like treading water too much to the point where they're exhausted or tired, and they decide, you know, this isn't really what I want to sign up for, which is why commitment has been slow. Keep in mind, you can like flip these, you know, scenarios. You could be the person that was waiting on a commitment, and that's what they're feeling. So I don't know. Or the other way around, you could be the person that, you know, has been elusive about committing. So let's see how they're feeling. Ace of Swords. They feel like they have the clarity. They have the clarity. They see it clearly. And with this ace being pressed up right up against that panda's lips, it makes me wonder. I feel like this panda is a little bit like, I can say nothing, but I got the full spectrum. I know what's up. But push me and you're going to get the truth and nothing but the truth. And you may not like the way it comes out. So I don't know why I feel like that is going on. Also, if there is narcissism involved in this, then you definitely want to be careful, because, you know, this could be also future faking. They have no intention of moving forward with you, that sort of a thing. So what else? How are they feeling? 10 of Cups. What? Well, they feel like you're definitely somebody that they would like to sign up for. Otherwise, they wouldn't have invested all this time, energy, and emotion in you. And with the double rainbow, I don't know, it could be, you know, something like LGBTQ community. But they definitely feel like they get emotional fulfillment with you. They can see you being in their life, like long-term, things like that. They can see having that emotional gratification, that enjoyment, that fun. They could see starting a family with you if you are in that, you know, in that point in your life. Or if you, you know, have that potential, right? So they're thinking about all the things, like maybe even integrating you within their family. So they definitely see it. They have the clarity that they need. What else do they feel? 10 of Pentacles. I knew this was going to be more positive than the other ones. So 10 of Pentacles is definitely like, this is loyalty. This is, we can rally around things. This is, we're here for the same cause or similar cause. I support you. Anything that you want to put out there, they're going to really take an inventory. They're going to think about it, and they're going to come back and say, okay, I can see how this could work. And they're going to help you. Maybe not, you know, with going all in or putting resources towards what it is that you want to do. Although for some of you guys it could be, but for some of you guys this simply has a lot to say about having a pause. Give me the time to pause and really think, and you know, what is not aligned right here, because there's something that made them like halt, and they were thinking really hard. And I almost wonder if it's your family that they're concerned about. So let's see, what is the issue right here? Why is this blood moon here with illusions, uncertainty, and narcissism? Show me for pile number 3. What is going on with them, please? What's a real issue? A real concern? The Devil. So you could have somebody maybe in your family who is toxic, or you could have toxic traits, right? I mean, I'm no angel. Shocking. Shocking. I know. But maybe perhaps you can get like mentally focused or riveted on something. And this can stand for, by the way, this can stand for addictions. So this is no judgment zone, but we're talking if you have any addictions, if you are a screamer, for example, a yeller, and that's how you communicate, and this person grew up in an environment that was totally different than that, that could really give them a pause, because they know that once they sign that lease to be like close to you forever, or, you know, jump into a relationship and deepen it, however they deem that, whether it's a partnership or a relationship or friendship, whatever, they're going to be subject to this kind of behavior or energy. And so I don't know if you have been working on your energy and things like that, or what they could be perceiving as being toxic or illusions. Maybe you're a dreamer and you don't go after things, but you kind of daydream about it, and therefore, you know, you don't have the money to put towards ideas and things like that. And it could be like, you know, constantly chasing a dream that you want, but don't have the resources for it and things like that. So that could be another scenario. Whatever this is right here, this talks about enslavement. This talks about maybe not communicating in the best way possible. This talks about potentially popping off. So if this is not you, again, you're going to put the narrative however you see fit. But there is a great connection here. What else happened here? Because it definitely, yeah, King of Pentacles right here. So this person could be like the bachelor, quintessential bachelor, bachelorette. Doesn't make a difference to sex, but this could be like saying, well, I'm doing pretty good right now, and things are pretty well, and I do notice some things that I'm not really totally sure I want to sign up for, and I like my peaceful home, my independence, things like that. So I don't know, maybe I'm going to give it a while longer before I pull the trigger on that and really decide, right? So let me see if I can get anything else here on the Devil, because that kind of threw me a little bit for a loop. Show me more about this Devil, this toxic trait, for pile number 3. King of Cups. So there could be another person maybe involved, or maybe they see you fighting or arguing with like baby daddy, baby mommy, whatever. So, or maybe this is you fighting, another scenario, you fighting against your own emotions. Like you're not quick to divulge emotions or share how you feel. And let me tell you, if that's you, I can really, really relate to that. I am not one to really speak my emotions freely. It's very challenging for me. So maybe perhaps they just see that as like it's such a challenge for you that, are you going to master it? Are you going to be able to communicate with them? Or are you going to be stoic and, you know, be silent and expect them to read your mind? Or are you going to be free from this Devil? They want to know, because they know that deeper down, there's more to you. And you can have that freedom should you choose it, but are you going to choose freedom? Because the devil is always a choice of attachment. It's a choice of attachment. And again, if this is addiction, this is a choice of, you know, usually drinking too much, because the King of Cups right here with these two paired up together could be a drinker. So maybe I heard vicios, so having, you know, too many. In Spanish it translates to wastes, like too many wasteful hobbies, you know, like drinking and rugging and things like that. So yeah, but this could definitely be a concern. Maybe like to go out too much, in their opinion. I don't know. And maybe you've not been like really receptive to like talking about this, or maybe something happened to where you actually got in a fight with this person. And so they're wondering, it's like, wow, is my person like toxic? Are they narcissistic? Do they not see what's really going on? Or do they not see that I'm looking at like long-term health? And if you're out every Friday doing these things, you know, what am I going to be doing? And then plus, how's that going to affect my family if I choose to have a family with you? So it could be any of those things. So anyways, let me know what you think. If you like my readings, go ahead and give me a like, share, comment, subscribe. That's all I have for you today. Much love. Until next time. Namaste.